I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today is kind of a cool day, and this is something I've been tossing around in my head really since I started this channel. And sort of kind of my motivation for starting this channel is my long journey in car audio. So like a lot of you out there, we're watching these videos, we're collecting this stuff because of our youth, and these were things that we coveted, things that we enjoyed, some things we worked really hard to get. Okay, so if you've watched any of my videos for any period of time, you know that I started off as a Alpine Rockford Fosgate guy, and had great success, enjoyed the stuff, but my Rockford amps blew up frequently, and so eventually I replaced my Punch 75 45 combo with the Lanzar Opti 160Q. And the simple fact that these had a 1-year warranty on them. When I bought this amp, Lanzar was offering a 5-year warranty. And so for me, it was an easy sell. I was tired of the Punch 75 was dying. So what we're going to do in this video is see was this a worthy upgrade going from this combination to that combination? And then we're going to do some sound tests and some dynos and compare the two and see if I was upgrading or if I was downgrading, or was it about the same. So let's go over these amps individually and see what they do. All right, so we're gonna give the Lanzar Opti a little sound test. Got some old school kicker competition 12s from a little bit before this time, so let's turn it up, let's see what this thing will do.
Tissue.
All right, so we're gonna give the Punch amps their time to shine. So let's turn them up, see how they sound. So we've got the Punch 45 strapped down to the dyno. We're going 4 ohms stereo. Both channels are loaded. Let's see what it'll do. .44 watts at 14.1 volts. All right, Punch 45 wired to 2 ohms stereo. See what it'll do. It's like 85 watts at 14.2 volts. All right, we got the Punch 75 HD, 4 ohms stereo, 1 channel, all channels driven. 54 watts. It went up to 57 at the end. I've tested it a couple of times, and 53 to 55 watts is what I continue to get. All right, So we ran this at 2 ohm stereo and we got 82 watts, but we were only at like 13.5 volts. So we turn the power supply up and we're at like 14.2 volts. Let's see what this thing shall do with a little bit more voltage. Reset in. Wow, we got 97 volt or 97 watts. Wow, that's a huge difference. All right, so now we got this thing Punch 75 wired up for 4 ohms bridged. Let's see what this bad boy will do. Looks like we got 204 watts at 14 volts. All right, so now we're gonna try the dynamic 40 hertz pulse track. See what this thing will do. Looks like we got 251 watts at about 14.1 volts. All right, we got the Lanzar Optidrive 4 ohm stereo. Let's see what she'll do. Looks like we got 51 watts at 14.2 volts. All right, we got the Lanzar wired to 2 ohms stereo. Let's see what it does. It's like 86 watts, 14 volts, 4 ohms bridged. Let's see what it'll do. Looks like we got 218 watts at 14.1 volts. All right, let's see if the Lanzar can top the Rockford of 250 watts dynamic power 40 hertz burst. See what it'll do. Looks like it can't. Oh my goodness. So back in the day, when I was running these amps in my system, the subwoofer channel was run 4 ohms bridged, which we tested. And so doing these sound tests, I was actually running 2 ohms bridged. And so they played fine and didn't have any issues. So I decided, well, you know what, let's find out how much power these things are really putting out at 2 ohms bridged dynamically. And that's kind of a more of a safer test to run at a low ohm load. And I'm pretty sure these things should handle it just fine. So let's see here. We got the Punch 75 HD, 2 ohms bridged, 40 hertz dynamic track. Let's see what she does. Wow. We got 298 watts at 2 ohms, and we're at about 14.1 volts. All right, so we got the Lanzar on the dyno at 2 ohms bridged, 40 hertz pulse track. So this is a dynamic test. We got 298 from the Punch 75. Let's see what this will do.
Looks like we got 299 watts. All right. Win goes to the Lanzar. That's awesome. You didn't think we'd let you leave without some gut shots. 75 HD. This is obviously a lot different than the earlier non-HD models. The non-HD models had wires and things kind of similar to this Lanzar. Both these are really clean. This is a really easy, efficient design. Rockford was pumping these things out like nobody's business. This is Z Audio built 4-channel. They both use Nichicon caps in them and good quality components. One thing I notice about this Lanzar is it doesn't have a lot of transistors in it. Not a lot of MOSFETs. I'm not sure they look like. I mean, these things look big. So, instead of running multiple small ones, they're running larger ones. So, obviously, this is half of kind of this. So, pretty cool. Both really clean, really nice. American made. Make us proud. Well, what do you guys think of this test, power-wise? I really don't think that these could be any closer. What I'm really amazed at is how close in power the Punch 45 and the Punch 75 really are. And the Punch 45 was not an HD version. Unfortunately, my HD version is dead. We did a video on that. But, these were very equally matched setup. You can see in the red is who put out the most. Where I was really surprised was dynamically when I was running these at 2 ohms bridged on music. I honestly felt like the Punch 75 really shined. Like it really hit a little bit harder and whatnot. And that's what inspired me to come back and do the 2 ohms dynamic bridged test. And as you can see, I mean, they were on the money. I mean, they were identical. Whereas at 4 ohms bridged, um, the dynamically the Punch put out more power. And where there could be some variances on this is how the gains are set and how much input you give this thing, because it pulses a track, and you can turn with the volume, you can turn that track up or you can turn that track down. So that's could influence these numbers, and I really played around with these to really find where these were making the power. So there's a chance that the Lanzar may be putting out a little bit more power than this, closer to the Punch 75. But you got to keep in mind, okay, the Lanzar is a 4-channel amp, where these are 2 individual 2-channel amps with separate power supplies. Where the Lanzar, when I was running all these numbers, I had all 4 channels loaded. So you got to keep in mind that there's just one power supply. So power-wise, I think these were great. I think it was amazing. I'm going to tell you my honest opinion, and I sort of felt it. Maybe I was biased, but I really honestly feel like the Punch amps feel like they're more powerful. I did this because, I wanted to know the hard numbers on this. So, as I'm running this test, I was a little biased. I think things started to come back, memory started to come back about the system and these components. And, my first initial reaction when I went to the Lanzar amp was it wasn't as powerful on the sub channel as the Punch 75 was. And so when I was listening to it now, I think maybe I was a little influenced or biased by that. But I mean, they're really, you're splitting hairs on who the winner is. But I am gonna say something,
And I think, you know, a lot of comments leading up to the teaser on this was that, you know, the punch amps are going to put out way more power, but the Lanzar amp's going to sound better. And I don't know why people are kind of hating on the punch amps, not really hating, but saying, oh, they're powerhouses and all these things. But I'm going to tell you something. Every time I've tested those amps against other amps of similar generations and stuff, man, those punch amps really sound good. For as simple as they are, seemingly simple, I mean, I know there's a lot of engineering and tricks and things and stuff into those amps. They sound really good. Okay. So if I had to pick, okay, we're splitting hairs here. I think the punch amps sound a little bit better. So that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. So, you know, leave some comments, you know, let me know what you guys think. And, you know, hey, please like and subscribe if you're not already, because, you know, we got a lot more cool stuff to make. I really like these amp battle videos, and this one was really, you know, special to me because, you know, these are things that I owned and I ran and literally replaced ones with. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Please come back, please like, subscribe, and pick up one of our channel stickers. And we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.